How you mean you ain't wash your hands? Hey, you violent, my boy. Well, every time that you get a chance, you have to wash up your hands. Put on your mask, practice some distance, stop spread corona. Like, it's Adamo. And on behalf of the Virgin Islands Department of Health, hold it down on all the mass gatherings. Wearing a mask not only protects you, but it protects your loved ones and your community. Like, help stop the spread corona.
I'm Jan. I'm an artist. St. Croix is my home, and I'm a registered voter. I registered to vote 54 years ago when the voting age was 21. I felt very excited. I became an adult. Now, the voting age is 18, and younger people have a stronger and more powerful voice. Well, Alexander Pope, a poet, said it was up to artists to see the beauty around us in the world. As an artist myself, I love the colors and vibrancy of these islands that we call home. We, as citizens, hold the power to strengthen the Virgin Islands. Voting is everyone's duty. After all, if you don't vote, you mustn't complain. Every vote counts. Your vote can make the difference. So register to vote, listen to the candidates, and then choose wisely.
This school year, all VI public school students will learn from home, at least until January. That means you should be properly groomed each morning. Put on your uniform shirt and a skirt or pants that reaches to your knees. Sit at your desk or a table with your back against the wall and turn on your computer and camera before class begins. Your teacher and your classmates can see you now. If you don't have a computer, you will still learn with your class. But every student will receive his or her very own Chromebook soon. Learning from home is still learning. Let's do it.
Good evening, and welcome to episode 29 of The Press Box. I'm Sydney Paul, Business Intelligence and Marketing Manager for the University of the Virgin Islands Research and Technology Park, better known as the RT Park. Thank you for joining our virtual town hall. This is a break from us talking at you and an opportunity for us to speak with you. With me today is our Executive Director and CEO of the RT Park, Peter H. Chapman, and our Chief of Staff, Ms. Amina Salim. We're here today to talk to you about the RT Park's role and its impact on diversity in the territory's economy. Please don't forget to ask your questions and share your best ideas in the comment section. Mr. Chapman, Ms. Salim, welcome.
Thank you.
So I wanted to start off our conversation with a question that we as a team get a lot from our community. What is the RT Park? There are so many different ways to answer that question, and I know that a lot of our community doesn't have a clear answer on what our role is in the community. So Peter, can you just give a brief overview of where the RT Park has been, what it was, and what it is today?
Sure, and again, good evening to the viewing audience. It's great to be here. So Sydney, the RT Park, the Research and Technology Park Corporation, is an economic development organization. We've been in existence for 18 years. We were created through enabling legislation, specifically Title 17, in 2002, and we were established really to help diversify and strengthen the economy of the Virgin Islands, through activities that help to grow the technology sector. So in a nutshell, so on paper, we were intended to be really a comprehensively focused organization that focused on everything from the attraction of new businesses to the acceleration of new businesses to talent development, place-based economic development, real estate development, and all those things. But quite frankly, we didn't really do those things between 2002 and 2018. So starting in 2018, which is when I came on board and when I assembled a phenomenal, high-performing team, not to embarrass you guys, that really marked the beginning of the RT Park that we know today, which is a comprehensively focused economic development organization that harnesses technology and the tech sector and also sustainable agriculture to create good jobs for Virgin Islanders and to facilitate investment in the community and all those wonderful things. So in a nutshell, that is what we are. That's where we've been, and that's where we are now. We currently have 68 what we call traditional companies in our program. Through the first 2 cohorts of our accelerator program, which we'll talk about later, we've assisted another 14 companies, and I know tonight we're going to be talking about some of our new and emerging initiatives, as well as our catalytic sustainable agriculture anchored real estate project, Tech Village. So that's a mouthful.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot, but it's a lot of really ambitious and aggressive things that we've been doing just in these past 2 years. And like you mentioned, most of the team is very new, starting with you. In 2018, the end of the summer, you came on board at the RT Park. What brought you here? Give us a little bit of background about who you are.
Sure. So I've been involved in this work for more years than I care to recall, because it makes me sound older. I'm actually aging in reverse. But I've been involved in economic revitalization in larger markets in the U.S. for several decades, for 2.5 decades. And this work, for me, is really it's a labor of love. And the decision to come to the Virgin Islands had mostly to do with my family connection to the Caribbean. It wasn't just about economic development and the technical, aspects of the work and the satisfaction that I get from the work, but it was really about the strong ties that I have to the Caribbean and the opportunity to do this work in a place where I have such deep family connections, not in the Virgin Islands per se, but as you know, in other parts of the Caribbean, specifically Barbados, Trinidad, and Panama. So I do think my grandparents are smiling down on me, because this is such a unique and important endeavor for me.
Definitely, and like you mentioned, there are so many programs. A lot of what the RT Park is, as an organization, is programmatic. So it's not necessarily just being that portal, that administrative portal for the tax benefits, which a lot of people associate with the RT Park. So I wanted to ask Amina if she could give our viewers sort of like a rundown of what our new programs are. And there are a lot. Just in the span of the past 2 years that we've been here, we've launched several programs. So Amina, just let everybody know what those programs are.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'd love to tell you about the programs, because before I came to the RT Park, I didn't know what the RT Park did exactly.
Me neither.
But in 2018, all of that changed when Peter Chapman came on. And one of the first things we did was look at Title 17. Title 17, the part that it talks about the RT Park, really had a lot more in it than just giving tax incentives. It's really an economic development agency, but the programs are for the people. And so when we did that, we started to say, what kind of programs do we want to look at? One of the things we found is that we're supposed to do a program as like an incubator for new businesses, to get new businesses in the tech and knowledge-based arena here in the Virgin Islands. So we started doing that. And when we did that, we said, wow, do you know, we might bring companies down from the States to come here and take advantage of the benefits, but do you know that Virgin Islanders cannot get into the park if they have an existing business? Because one, they don't make the money, it's expensive, they can't do that. So how do you create the type of entrepreneurs that you want to come from the Virgin Islands? I always like to joke and say, we want to create millionaires. How do you get them to get that knowledge? So what we did was start Accelerate VI. And we were blessed to have a person who had already had experience in accelerators to do that. And he started Accelerated VI for us. And Accelerate VI has had right now 2 cohorts over the past year. And we've had 14 companies come in. 10 of those companies are Virgin Islanders who have businesses all in the tech space. A number of different businesses you might hear about. You know, they have apps they've created on finance, on tourism. It's so much creativity here. And one of our clients said, who's a Virgin Islander, says, I was getting ready to go and move to Georgia. And then I heard about Accelerated VI, and he said, maybe I ought to stay. And he became part of the cohort, and he's launched his website. He's getting ready to launch his app, and it's all about financial. How do you become a financial aware education? He's done a lot of that work. We've had a lot of good success with Accelerate VI, and we hope to create more Virgin Islander entrepreneurs in the tech space. Our next program that we started after that, and this was one, you know, we had a big business attraction summit. And when we had that summit was, you know, huge. We had people from all over the country coming in for the summit, and because we wanted to get them, we don't really believe in going all out and looking. People will come here, they want to come here. So when we did that, we actually got 4 companies from that business attraction, but one of our speakers was Rashida Hodge, that Sydney found and said, can you come and speak? Rashida was great, and when she did that, she said, I want to do something for the Virgin Islands. And from that conversation came STEM Kids, VI STEM Kids. And we just launched VI STEM Kids this year. We had planned to have 60 students who would participate, but then COVID hit, and we couldn't do that. So with that, we did 30 students, and each one of them, we partnered with the Caribbean Boys and Girls Club, and each one of those students got a Chromebook that they could take home, and they learned to code. And it was so wonderful seeing them. We had 30 students who did it from both St. Croix and Frederiksted and Christiansted and their St. Thomas club. And those students made apps, they made little videos, little cartoons. It was wonderful. And the fact that they were able to take those Chromebooks home and keep them was something else we were really excited about. Another thing that we did was Vista Plus, that's coming out right now, and the Tech Village. The Tech Village we're going to talk about a little bit later, and that's a big project for us, because who knew that the RT Park was supposed to do agriculture? You know, no one had ever talked about it, but in Title 17, we are supposed to look at new and diverse ways to do agriculture. Yeah. And when we talk about the Tech Village, you'll hear about that. Yeah. But the big program we want to talk about is Vista Plus. Yeah. And Vista Plus is something that's very dear to Sydney and my heart. And we'll talk about that a lot more later and tell you all about that program. But for me as a mother, that's the most important program we do at the RT Park. And it is. It's our way of bringing our children back home. We talk a lot about the brain drain, the workforce, and what our clients told us is that they were tired of seeing people come to the Virgin Islands to work and then say, oh, wow, you know, I don't like it here. My wife doesn't want to work here. And so therefore they leave after they've invested a lot of money in them. They would rather Virgin Islanders Well, we don't have a lot of Virgin Islanders who might be trained exactly in what these clients need, but we have a lot of Virgin Islanders in the diaspora who have gone off for college and gotten that training.
Yeah, I mean,
and they can do that.
I totally agree with you. I have, my classmates who are still away, and I'm hoping that Vista Plus, which is a job search platform essentially, that you can go online, and it's only for Virgin Islanders. Me and you say all the time, it's made for Virgin Islanders by Virgin Islanders. And this platform, anybody who is a Virgin Islander who's working away in STEM or tech can register, create a profile on what their expertise is, and connect with businesses that are that have job opportunities right now. And for us, when we think about economic development, it's threefold, right? So there's that business attraction portion, there's the entrepreneurship portion, and then there's the workforce development portion. All of those things have to be thought about together in the work that we do to make sure that we're doing it successfully. And with the Tech Village project, there's a huge workforce development portion of that. But before we get to that, I just wanted, Peter, for you to kind of quickly give people what the overview of what the Tech Village project is.
Sure, Sid. So the Tech Village project, and of course we'll talk in more detail in a few minutes, it's ultimately about food system resilience and independence, and harnessing the opportunities that we see to bring new sustainable agriculture companies to the territory and help existing sustainable agriculture companies grow, providing a space, literally physical space and infrastructure for them to grow. And so that is a driving element of the project. In addition to that, we will have other investments on the site that complement that. But at the end of the day, Tech Village is about sustainable, agriculture-driven and oriented economic development.
Yeah, that sustainable agriculture portion of what the project is, and there are different functions or different areas that are outside of that. But through our process in building this project over really the past almost year now.
That's correct.
It's evolved, and it's been shaped and molded into what it is today, and it's still evolving, right? And a lot of that came through partnerships, particularly in the sustainable and agriculture communities here in the territory, particularly on St. Croix, like the Virgin Islands Good Food Coalition. I think that that's really important to mention that, with that project, we're focusing on evolving the project. So we're gonna go to a break, and we have more to talk about when we get back.
Once again start building the Virgin Islands. And to do that, we need the infrastructure, but most importantly, we need the mindset. And that's why we have this Business Attraction Summit. I think we're at a unique point in our history where our leaders understand what it takes to build an economy. Well, it's more than just attracting companies, but it's about getting people with talent who will continue to make that entrepreneurship a way of life. Will infect and invest and virally go out and make our young people think about building companies.
It's powerful. It's also beautiful. It can be scary, but I think there's a lot of good things that come from change, especially growth. And so this quote from Darwin, I really love it. It's not the strongest species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one that's most responsive to change. And I really think the Virgin Islands is really poised for some amazing change.
I tend to tell people, the more challenges you have in your community, the best environment you have for entrepreneurship. Because the point of being an entrepreneur is that you see a challenge, you see a problem, you create a solution, but you're just good at making money off of it.
If we're playing our part in terms of fostering an innovative ecosystem here in the Virgin Islands, we have to be able to serve both later stage technology-based companies and early stage companies.
And we think the park is perfectly positioned to create that diversification that this economy needs. And when I look up and I see all of you, I say to myself, all these folks get it, and they want to work with the park in creating this new economy in the United States Virgin Islands.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. When we talk about how we build a legitimate tech hub, this is the RT Park family.
Welcome back. And so right before the break, we were talking about Tech Village. And one of the questions that I get a lot too from community members when we're talking about the project is, the Research and Technology Park. When you say the name, it doesn't have anything to do with agriculture or sustainability. So why are we even working in this space right now, Peter? Why is the RT Park working in sustainability?
Sure. So it goes back to the founding statute, right? So the enabling legislation that created us, which is Title 17, specifically chapters 34 and 43 lay out really the founding vision for the RT Park. And I have to say, I'm not just saying this because I lead the RT Park, but I really do think that it was a visionary piece of legislation because it recognized that technology is a driver of economic development, but also the other critical thing that you find in the statute, which is more Virgin Islands centric, is that recognition of the potential to harness agriculture, particularly sustainable agriculture, to help strengthen and diversify the economy. And just to be clear, sustainable agriculture is about commercial scale agriculture that can feed the entire community and promote job creation and long-term investment, in contrast to what we call subsistence farming, which is fine, but that is not going to feed an entire community. So again, the reason for the focus on sustainable development goes to that founding statute, but it is also a very important and legitimate focus for an organization like ours that is trying to diversify the economy.
And when we think about agriculture and sustainable development, for me too, is like you mentioned, thinking about agriculture as an economic development driver, creating jobs, that's a possibility. That is a real possibility, especially for a community like ours that holds our land and agriculture so dear to our heart. I feel like we should be lifting up like that community, especially with resources and opportunities and things like that. In terms of workforce development, we got a question from Facebook, from Daphne, that says, talent development and technology should be at an early stage. What are our thoughts and plans for that? That's a really good question to bring into Vista Plus and VI STEM Kids, which are two programs that the RT Park has been working on for Virgin Islanders in particular, who are a little bit younger. Vista Plus can be really any age, but VI STEM Kids and Vista Plus work on that. So Amina, I just wanted you to explain what the eligibility requirements for Vista Plus are. Though they don't have any age requirements, I think it's important because it's part of our talent attraction and development initiatives at the RT Park. So what makes you eligible to be a part of Vista Plus?
To be eligible, you have to be born in the Virgin Islands, to have gone to a high school in the Virgin Islands and graduated, or UVI, or been to school in the Virgin Islands for 6 years. You also have to live in the Virgin Islands for 1 year. So you're a resident after a year. And so if you're living here, you could register also. Also, what we're looking for is high school graduates as soon as they graduate.
Yeah.
Our kids go off to college and no one knows who's that. We might have 10 to 20 young people who are studying computer science right now, and we don't know that. So we're going to be capturing that information and knowing where they are and getting them. But the person asks, what about younger ages? That's why we started VI Code STEM Kids.
Yeah.
We know that the young children have to get that knowledge. They have to do these things. I had a son who went away to college and he said, Mom, the kids who came to this school, they were doing all this stuff from the 3rd and 4th grade. And we have to get it that our children are doing things from the 3rd and 4th grade, not waiting until they get all the way to high school or when they go off to college.
Yeah.
So our coding programs are going to do just that.
I saw another question. Thank you, Amina. I saw another question from Facebook where they asked, where are RT Park offices? Well, we have some exciting news about our offices because we have 2 offices now.
Right.
So many people know the RT Park as that main building on St. Croix's, the UVI St. Croix campus. So it's that building in the front with the windmill designed structure. That's our building. We're hoping to, or we will be moving into that building in November. It's finally been renovated and fixed after Hurricane Maria. But we recently finished and are working in our downtown Christiansted co-working space. So for those who don't know the concept of a co-working space, or those who are familiar with co-working spaces in the States, it's sort of like a WeWork. So it's a place where different entrepreneurs can use the space either daily, weekly, monthly, if they can't afford their own set office space every single day. So it's sort of like a collaboration space for people who just need that extra space day to day. Another question that we've gotten is, what type of businesses does the VI need? So I'll let Peter answer that question, because diversification is like something that we talk about religiously at the RT Park. And for us, diversification is bringing in, well, for me, this is what I've been telling people, is that diversification for us is technology and knowledge-based businesses, bringing those new sort of enterprises into the territory, but also it's sustainable development and agriculture, because it's an industry that hasn't had the resources that it should have, historically. Lifting that industry up also counts for me as diversification, because agriculture didn't have as much of an impact as it should have. So I don't know if you want to add anything to
Sure,
that.
I would like to add a few things briefly. So I'm going to answer that by highlighting some of the principal target sectors that we are focused on at the RT Park. So Sydney mentioned, she mentioned what we call traditional technology, which means, IT, specifically things like specialized software development, e-commerce platforms, and so forth and so on. But the other sectors that we've identified, in addition to traditional IT, are sustainable development, which is inclusive of sustainable agriculture, as we mentioned before. So there is a lot of opportunity for growth and economic empowerment in that space. Also healthcare and life sciences, and that's a very important sector, not just from an economic development standpoint, but also from a services and a wellness, a community wellness standpoint. So the more healthcare related companies we can attract here, and we've been doing very well in that space, the better it is for the overall health of Virgin Islanders. So those are just a few critical sectors that really underscore the needs that we have in the Virgin Islands community.
Definitely, and I've seen another really, really good question that I've gotten before, and it's sort of, like a foundational part of knowing what the RT Park is. So Amina, can you tell people, how does the RT Park get funded? Where do we get our money from?
We're happy to say we get our money. We are totally funded. We fund ourselves. We don't get any money from the government. And one of the things about when companies come in, they want to be here. And so they give us a management fee that they have. They give us a number of fees, and from those fees that they pay annually, we fund our agency. And that makes us able to really be autonomous and to create the type of programs that we want to do.
Okay, and I've seen another question that I think is really important to answer off of Facebook, and it's how we collaborate with other organizations and even agencies to do the work that we do. So for instance, working with the Department of Agriculture or Department of Education, I know that, with VI STEM Kids, we've been having conversations around expanding that. With Department of Labor and Vista Plus, we've been working on expanding these programs so that it's touching more and more Virgin Islanders is really important to us. us. And that can't be done without collaborative efforts with our community, but also resources, right? So through those partnerships, through networking and talking with other organizations, those programs can expand with more resources and more partnerships. I just wanted to mention that.
And I just want to say also, we get such great support from the governor in all of this, in getting these other agencies to collaborate with us.
Yeah. Another question that I saw come quickly through was, how do you get into Accelerate VI? So I can answer that. It's basically an application process, and the next cohort won't be happening until next year, 2021. But essentially, just keep, you can just stay updated with us. There's a page for a Facebook page for Accelerate VI. There's also a website, www.acceleratevi.com, and that'll keep you updated on when the next cohort will begin. So we're gonna start wrapping up. This has been a really great conversation, and as always, good conversations go very, very quickly.
They do.
So I just wanna give Mina first the opportunity to thank anybody that she wanted to thank, or give some last thoughts on the RT Park that you would like people to know about us.
Well, I want to thank everyone out there and all the encouraging words we've gotten from the community about, wow, our RT Park sounds really exciting now. And we want to do more programs for you, and we want to hear from you, and we'd like to hear more from you. Of course, COVID has made it difficult, but we thank all of you who have been helping us and working with us. We thank the governor and the lieutenant governor for their cooperation with us and helping us and encouraging us. Thank you very much.
Peter, do you have any last thoughts about the RT Park that you want people to know?
I do. I want to first thank the viewing audience, thank the staff of this wonderful show, and I want to thank the governor and the lieutenant governor for providing this forum for the RT Park. And then finally, I want to thank the people who are directly tied to the RT Park, starting with our board of directors, and last but not least, I want to thank the team. So I'm a big believer in, building a strong team, having a great ensemble, because that is really how you drive progress. And not to embarrass the folks sitting here, but we couldn't do the work that we do at the RT Park without Sid and Amina, who are among our rock stars. And this team, throughout that, 3.5 or 4 month quarantine period, not that COVID-19 is over by any stretch of the imagination, but we worked more intensely than we did even prior to that. And our numbers reflect that in terms of new businesses we've brought into the territory, in terms of our success with our accelerator program, and quite frankly, also in terms of the revenue that we've generated for the organization. So this year, we will have contributed close to $2.3 million for the university as a result of very aggressive business attraction work. And so that represents literally a 100% increase over what we were generating for the university in 2018. And so I want to thank every member of our team. That includes the full-time employees, as well as our contract employees, and our crack interns, both of whom are from UVI. So in addition to Sid and Amina, I want to thank Eric Saunier, Siobhan Chopa, Alfonso Rodriguez, Naisha Monel Joseph, John Harrison, Epithemio Stoliotis, Amanda Span, Yihan Wang, Kadisha Charles, and Rex Kazaban, who is like my son. So thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Again, thank the governor and lieutenant governor for this opportunity, and the amazing team at the Press Box for working with us today. You guys have been amazing. Yes, thank you again. I want everybody to have a wonderful night. Please be safe, please be healthy, and have a great, great night.
Thank you, Sid.